Hello and welcome to Beheaded.
Welcome to Season 7, Episode 13, Part 2.
I'm Megan Moore.
And I'm Elizabeth Black.
We took a quick break.
Just a little break. A little breaky break.
Don't know how long the break was for you, but for us,
Quick break. As you see, we're still in our same clothing on the YouTube.
it would have been funny if we just switched outfits.
Like I wore your shirt.
Yeah, we should have thought of that. That would have been funny.
It's not too late. You want to do
it? Only for the YouTube users.
Ooh, YouTube.
That's for
we're getting a little undressed.
You know we're in part 2 because I switched to cherry Coke Zero in my fancy French coup glass.
That looks delicious.
You know what?
Did you call it a coup glass? Coupe glass.
Coupe.
Yeah.
I thought the P was silent.
No, that's like a coup d'etat is silent. Like that's silent. But that I believe
like
is pronounced
to
like
take
a
over
coot.
the king.
Ooh. We're not quite there with our transition yet, but that is a
that
good
would have
one.
been a good transition. I'll hold on to that one.
Okay.
I'll
Maybe
keep
bring up your glass in a bit.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Our last
Here, hold on.
episode, maybe ever.
Don't say that. I told Megan before this, I made her commit to 10 seasons, so that's happening.
God help us. I'm going to blink twice if I need help.
No. 10 seasons.
No,
First of all, this might never die. We might die before this podcast dies, but we're committed to at least 10 seasons. I'm not just giving up after 7, please. And we got big plans next year.
Yeah, you can't just end at 7 or 8 is you can't end on.
If you're going to go to 8, you might as well go to 10.
And you can't do 9.
No.
Maybe 15.
Okay.
That'd be funny.
Think about it. But like, okay, future us, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Where are we? What do we look like?
Well, the thing is, Megan's going to be living half the year in England.
Probably.
You're going to be in the Cotswolds in your cute little cottage.
They don't have service there, so.
Oh, you're just like, I can't contact you at all?
Like we won't be able to
like Skype interviews or anything?
No, terrible.
Do they still have Skype? Is that a thing?
No.
Starlink?
We're talking about the future, not the past.
Oh, you're right. Damn. Okay. I that aged me. Your Starlink little connection, you don't have that? No? Okay.
Where are you in 10 years?
Well, you see, in 10 years, I live in many places, you know. It's like I summer in either northern Arizona or New Jersey coast or Colorado. But in the football season in the fall, you know, it's like I probably go back to Southern California to follow my college team. But, you know, but we're kind of all over the place, you know. Winter, we'll do a little Arizona.
We'll do special edition episodes like when we can.
Yeah.
You know?
In the spring, I'm a very international lady in the spring, you know. I go all over, mostly Europe, but all over, you know.
I approve.
Japan for the cherry blossoms.
Oh, yeah. Just the seasonal stuff.
Yeah. You know, I got to visit all the Disney parks in the world, so. It's going to be very demanding on my time. I don't know if I could actually meet with you at all, Megan.
All right. Well, I'm going to be busy just sitting in my cottage with my fireplace.
With your potato garden.
Yeah, so I'll be busy.
Okay. But we will commit to a certain amount of episodes for you all.
Well, I'm like feeling nostalgic because we've dragged out this season for so long and it's finally coming to an end.
I'm
finally.
So sorry.
Thank God.
No. You're going to miss me when I'm gone.
I know. Sometimes I don't even see you in the off season. So let's be real.
Don't say that.
Barely. I don't make you French dinners.
I mean, we can, Megan.
We should.
There's not, you know,
we could still have themed nights.
We had plenty of theme nights. Last year we did our whole mummy party.
That's true.
So don't act like we don't do things outside of the podcast.
And the Parent Trap night.
Yeah, get out of here. We host plenty of things for each other.
We actually do a lot of weird events with just the two of us.
I think the
Probably
issue
more than what's normal.
The issue is that we need to have more casual hangouts. I think when we do hang out, we both make it a big production.
There's flags behind.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean we don't do anything lightly?
We do a lot
on the YouTube. We're in a French themed room right now with French flags everywhere.
It's beautiful. So maybe we just need to plan more casual hangouts.
It doesn't have to be themed.
Yeah. Or we went to the zoo a lot last year.
You know what we talked about in the last episode? We kind of like hinted at ghost stories, but I kind of left on a cliffhanger. I was like,
did you?
I don't know. I was like, I've had ghost experiences and then just didn't say anything.
No,
that's very mysterious of me.
That's not what happened. You said
it was just an hour ago. I think I remember.
You said it may or may not involve Abe Lincoln. And I said, okay, Megan, we'll save your little ghost story for next time. And I guess it's the next time. So before we dive into our Robespierre Part 2 episode, Megan has a ghost story to tell us.
I should preface, there's absolutely no transition. Like, there's no smooth way to talk about Abraham Lincoln's ghost to the Reign of Terror.
I beg to differ.
We'll find a way, maybe.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with anything to do with executions or beheadings.
That's not true. Abraham Lincoln was shot in a theater.
Assassinated.
Exactly. Assassinated. And, he quelled the Civil War in America. And at this point,
and there were rebels there.
yeah.
And there's rebels here.
At this point, France is in a somewhat civil war of sorts. Not really, but we'll get into that.
Okay. Well, I've had several ghost experiences. I was in Washington, D.C. at Ford's Theater, and we went across the street to the Peterson House, which is where they carried Abraham Lincoln after he was shot, and they put him on. The citizen was like, oh, come in this house and come on, put him here and have him on my bed. And that was the room that he died in.
I see.
And total coincidence. I was there for my
And it's still the same structure.
Yes, it's the same exact house. It's now a museum. They've left everything pretty much like as is because it's like where Abraham Lincoln died.
Interesting.
And they do tours. And coincidentally, I was there with my 8th grade Washington, D.C. field trip, as so many Americans have gone through. And coincidentally, we were there on the anniversary of his death. But we didn't mean to do that. It was just coincidence.
Interesting.
And we were in the room, we were looking at the bed, and I got so dizzy, like vertigo type, room started spinning dizzy. And I looked over at my teacher. I remember her, Miss Sodden, and she had a weird look. And she was like, there's too many people in here, which there weren't. It was just like our small little group. She's like, it's really claustrophobic. Let's leave. I took a quick picture with my disposable Kodak camera of the bed, and then we left. And she was like, kind of fanning her. So she's like, gosh, I felt so nauseous in there. And I was like, me too. So we were sharing that we had the same exact physical symptoms of feeling really dizzy and nauseous.
Okay.
And so then weeks later, and I developed my film, there is a big flash and an orb right over the bed.
Mysterious orb.
There were no mirrors or glass around. Like, there was no plexiglass between us. There was nothing to flash the camera on. It was just wallpaper. I was so curious of what happened. I even looked at other versions of the room to see if there was like a mirror behind me, like through other people's pictures and stuff. And there wasn't.
Interesting. Do you know if anyone else had photos developed and saw similar things in there?
No, but I'd be very curious of that, if what else came. But it was a perfect orb over the bed with a big bright light. So maybe it was like some type of portal. Maybe he was like,
you opened the portal.
Maybe something weird was going on. Anyways,
I have never had a ghost encounter. I think I've had premonitions of sorts.
Yeah, I think weird things can happen.
I do think weird things can happen, and I'd like to believe in them, but I've yet to hear something that's like, whoa, confirmed ghost.
All right, I'll think about that.
I mean, yours are close.
They're pretty close. And I still have the picture. I still have the picture of the Abraham Lincoln.
I think you showed it to me a long time ago.
I'll show it to you after here too.
Okay.
Like when we're done. So
90s cameras reveal ghosts.
I mean, early 2000s. They were
early 2000s cameras.
But it was I used a lot of the disposable cameras.
So did I.
Yeah.
It's really all I had access to.
Yeah.
Remember my first digital camera? I thought I was like so wealthy.
I'm like, you can take as many as you want. What do you mean? So confusing.
The fireworks look nice in this one.
Anyways, Abe Lincoln was coming to me to tell us, do not start a revolution. Do not start a rebellion.
Hold this republic
Our country
together.
Was divided.
You're right.
And that leads us into the French Reign of Terror, which we're going to wrap up with our season tonight. Was that the transition you were looking for?
Close. That was very good. That was very close to what I was going to say. So before we get into part 2 of Maximilien Robespierre, I just want to recap our episode
Please
1
do.
Because you know what happens every time I know, and we always are like, oh, you guys, we always listen to the second part. It's because in the off season we get an influx of new listeners, right?
Welcome.
And what do? They listen to the most recent episode.
Yes.
But we always tell you guys this is part 2, right? There's a part 1, which you should listen to understand what's going on, and a part 2.
There's still death in that one.
Yes, there's still lots of things happening in that one. You'll be very intrigued by part 1, but it makes more sense when you listen to them together.
Yes, you gotta get the full package.
Those of you that are just coming to the show, please, we implore you, see the part 1 first because it makes more sense.
And this is us reprimanding.
Yeah. Stern. But Just to quickly recap part 1 in case
Yeah, okay.
you do wanna miss
I
it.
also forgot it was like an hour ago,
And we
so
have to
please
remind Megan.
tell me what we talked about. I
Okay.
don't remember.
So, Maximilien Robespierre, born into the mid 1700s in France, very idealistic, bright young man,
Mhm.
right? He gets a scholarship to go to school. He's the poorest kid in school. A
Mm.
lot of
We love
things
him.
are against this poor boy.
Underdog.
But he's very disciplined. He gets
Yes.
high marks in class. He gets all the awards in school. He eventually goes on to become a lawyer and gets a seat as a judge. However, because he's so idealistic, he has to reject the seat as a judge because he does not believe in the death penalty. So he was
Yes.
so pure of heart and virtuous, they called him incorruptible.
What
Like,
happened?
like no vices as a man. And so when he's in his 20s and then early 30s, he gets invited into higher ranks of politics. He
Yes.
goes to something called the Estates General, where it represents the Third Assembly of France. The Third Assembly is essentially the peasant class. So he's advocating on behalf of them. He is very against the monarchy. He believes in Rousseau ideas of all men are equal, that we don't need a monarchy, that we can all live in harmony if we all just kind of have this ideal way of living where each man governs himself and everyone is innately good. So
Mm.
he believes these things to their core. Finally, he amasses enough power to create this essentially new club. It's a Jacobean political club. He is now the president of it, and they are fighting for a new constitution of France. King Louis, who's on the throne at this time, King Louis XVI, does not like this.
Mm.
He tries to flee. He tries to raise a foreign army to help stop this rebellion. Instead, he's caught, he's put on trial, and he is executed at the guillotine.
Oh.
And this is the turning point of Robespierre because he says, in his own words, Louis must die so that the nation may live.
And this is coming from the guy who was quoted to say he believed in liberty,
Mm-hmm.
equality,
Mm-hmm.
and fraternity,
Yep. So
and hated the death penalty. And
he
now here
was
we are.
so against the death penalty, and this
Yes.
last episode ends with him enforcing the death penalty, not just to anyone, but to the King of France. And this part 2 focuses on what the hell happens next. Once you give up your ideal beliefs, once you are, taking a step back from this pure utopia that you deemed so crucial to the existence of your nation, what do you do now?
I just see Robespierre. This is the turning point for him. His life feels so divided as
Mm-hmm.
such a two-faced person, from being such this open-minded, empathetic, all for the people, all for the citizens. He takes it to the extreme.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to get into next.
Mm-hmm.
How did the Reign of Terror start?
Yes.
What was Robespierre's role in the Reign of Terror? And yeah, what the hell was he thinking? So,
And what happened to him?
and what happened to him?
Mhm.
So, Elizabeth, take it away.
All right. So at this time, again, we had King Louis's execution happen in 1793. So at this time, Austria and Prussia get involved because they essentially made a promise to the French people. They had warned the people of France, if you harm Louis the 16th, our nations are going to intervene militarily.
Mm.
Like, we're not just going to stand by while you execute a monarch. They had a feeling that Robespierre and his cronies would go so far as to do
Yeah.
something like that.
They're getting out of hand here.
Exactly. And we mentioned this in our last episode, but Marie Antoinette, Louis XVI's wife, she is from Austria. She's
Mhm.
Austrian. Of course, they're going to protect her. They're going to protect the French monarchy. They're very invested in the future of this monarchy. And obviously, they have monarchies as well. They don't really want to see that go away. So, the same year, 1793, in April, the Committee of Public Safety is created.
Sounds so pleasant and wholesome.
And what this is, because they're at war with Austria and Prussia, or at least the threat of big war, this committee is a wartime dictatorship. So it's specifically in response to the wars that are waged abroad, and it's in response to the potential civil war that's now brewing
Mhm.
in France. tie into Abraham Lincoln.
That's why we
There
started
we
with that
go. Yeah.
story.
And what this public safety committee is it's an executive committee of 12 men. And Max joins in July 1793. And then he quickly becomes essentially like the ideological spine of this committee.
He's like the spokesperson of
Yeah.
the public safety committee over here.
Yeah.
They're like the hall monitors. Why do I picture them with little
Like
neon vests?
vests. Yeah. And
Yeah, they
whistles,
had vests, right? They all had little vests and
probably.
whistles, little notepads, and they walked around and they're like, "You, what are you doing? Are you crossing like a rebel, a revolutionary,
Are you a royalist
revolutionist?"
or are you a
Yeah.
revolutionist? Yeah. So they're trying to just weed out, who the enemies to the revolution are because they're officially creating the revolution. And the reign of terror begins. And if you know anything about the French Revolution, you know the reign of terror is a scary, scary time.
Truly terrifying.
Mhm.
Last year we talked about this, how we went to this cool Halloween themed called the Chateau de Moore, which was like a French theme at this like old mansion here in Arizona.
Yeah.
But they did it all French Revolution themed because it truly can be tied together with Halloween. And it was creepy. And they had these French revolutionists like actors dressed up, right? And they were
Ghosts.
kind of calling people out in the crowd of like, "Are you a loyalist?
Yeah.
Are you a loyalist?" And there was like a guillotine behind them. It was this whole acting scene. It was like a ghostly walkthrough that we did.
Right.
But that just goes to show, like, it was a bloody scene. It was really, really scary to any of the citizens.
That's truly how it was like people at this time started to get nervous about their
Yes.
ideas. And you couldn't just be a revolutionary. Like you couldn't just be a person who's kind of a moderate, like, yeah, I believe in a
Mhm.
revolution. We saw the Americans get their freedom from England. We could do something similar. Like people like Robespierre didn't like you being somewhat moderate, like somewhat in this game. Like, yeah, sure, that sounds like a great idea. No, they wanted you to be hardcore. Like, if you
Yeah,
committed to the
fully committed.
revolution, you were committing to, okay, you will stop at nothing to see us free of tyranny and monarchy. So you will shed blood, like you
Mhm.
will protest, you will take to the streets, you will ransack places, you will do whatever it takes to secure a victory for the people so that the aristocracy is left with nothing and the monarchy is left with nothing.
Yeah.
And again, so funny from a guy that just didn't believe in any kind of capital punishment. He didn't believe in the death penalty. And now he's bloodthirsty. Now he's calling for more and more blood to be shed. He even goes so far as to say, hey, everybody, tear isn't a bad thing. You guys are talking about
The
tear.
propaganda, the way this man
Yeah.
can turn his words around
Oh, it's crazy.
and
He
convince people.
he writes this essay and he's essentially claiming that virtue without terror is powerless. And he's saying terror without virtue is just fatal.
Mm,
So he's arguing to the French public, hey, terror, and this is a direct quote, is a prompt, severe, and inflexible justice.
mm.
So he's like, you guys are looking at terror all wrong. You're scared of terror. You shouldn't be scared of terror. Terror is just justice. It just happens to be quick, severe, and inflexible. Are you okay with
And
that?
bloody and deadly.
Yeah. So basically, everyone who is considered an enemy to the revolution is ruthlessly eliminated. Robespierre means that if you are against this revolution, they're going to use their very new fun weapon, their fun tool, the guillotine. Same thing that they used for Louis the 16th to die. You will be dealt with quickly if you oppose us.
So you make a good point here that Robespierre
Yeah.
is really starting to define what the enemy looks like.
Hmm.
And this is where I think he gets so caught up in his head and so extreme because he defines an enemy as, I mean, to add on to everything Elizabeth said, he, anybody who is, like you said, supportive of the monarchy, helps foreign enemies in any ways, criticizes the revolution, insufficiently revolutionizes,
Yeah.
is worried for what they're doing,
If you're worried of like the future state of France, you're like seen as weak.
or like you're afraid of
Yeah.
what's happening, then you have reason to be afraid because you're hiding something.
Mhm.
It even goes as far as some people were even tried and executed by the guillotine because they questioned the Constitution while the Constitution was paused for revisions because they all kind of agreed our Constitution is not how we want it to be. We want it we want to add these different clauses. It needs to
Right.
be more, about the people and less about the monarchy. But if someone was questioning the Constitution, even though it was on pause for these reasons, and they were like, why would you question our country's Constitution?
The
And
Republic, yeah.
that guy got guillotined for it. Like, everybody was walking on eggshells here. It was really
Mhm.
terrifying. In 1 year during the French Revolution, there was 17,000 executions by guillotine.
In all of France.
Just think of that, 17,000 people,
That's so many.
souls, lives
Mhm.
ended so quickly and abruptly just because they said the wrong thing to the wrong person. Like,
Mhm.
we thought the witch hunts were bad.
Yeah. This has nothing on the French Revolution.
Everyone was afraid of somebody misunderstanding something that they said
Mhm.
if they didn't have rebellion and revolution running through their veins. So,
Right.
really, really scary time.
Well, they also passed a law
Yes.
that stripped them of all of their rights too. So not only was the Constitution suspended, right?
Hmm.
They passed the law of 22 Prairial. Am I
Hmm.
saying that right?
Prairial law.
Yeah.
This is fun. This is really fun. So we're very used to a structure of you're arrested, you know what your crimes are. They're pretty tangible crimes that you can, have evidence to in some sort, have a trial, have a jury.
Mhm.
And then even if you are condemned, accused, found guilty, there's typically like a waiting period, right, for any action to actually happen.
Well, and you can have legal counsel, you could have witnesses, you could have material evidence. You know what
Right.
I mean? There's
You
like
can build your
so
case.
much that goes into a
You can
trial.
have a lawyer. With
Mhm.
this new law, all of that was stripped away.
Yeah.
So they actually built a new courthouse where because they were running out of space of all the people that they were arresting and trying. So with this new method, it was all a math equation. It was like corporations, like how much can we push through? They
It's
were
like a corporate rift where they're
Yeah,
like, "Oh, it's a reduction in force. We're going to just have a spreadsheet of all of the employees and how much money they make and who can we afford to get rid of
yeah.
and what
Create
salaries are
some
going to be."
filters,
Yeah,
whatever.
it's crazy.
They could try up to 60 people at a time with this new space and this new system that they created.
Mhm.
Your trial, once a neighbor said, "Hey, they said something weird
They're
about,"
worried.
they were worried that we were executing too many people, so I think they need to be executed.
Yeah,
You were allowed a 15-minute trial
if that.
at
And you can't
most.
even call it a
It's
trial.
not a trial.
It's
It's
more
a
like
statement that you were
you
able to make.
kind of begging for your life.
You were able to make a brief statement to
Mhm.
defend yourself. And of course, everyone is kind of saying the same thing like, I love France. I love the Republic.
I
I
love
hate
Robespierre.
I hated Louis. I hated Marie Antoinette. I hate the monarch. Like, they're all gonna say the same thing, right?
Spit
They're
on
all
the ground.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No lawyer, very simple, brief, they got a statement. At
Mhm.
that point, this committee of public safety, that Robespierre was very much a powerhouse of,
Mhm.
they got to say yay or nay.
Like the
Yes or
Roman
no?
Colosseum, essentially.
If you were found innocent, you get off completely scotch-free, like,
Yeah.
no repercussions. I don't know, do we okay, follow-up for season 8, write this
Oh,
down,
man, I
Elizabeth.
have to do this.
Next
We're already
year,
talking
next
about your
October,
birthday.
I wanna
Okay.
know, was anybody actually even acquitted?
Well, I'm okay. Was anyone acquitted?
We may not have that
We're
answer
gonna find
th
out. Acquitted
this
in
month, but we'll figure it out.
Rev
I just can't
Tribunal.
imagine what could somebody actually say. At that point, the words are useless. It's more about who you know, your luck. Maybe you had some influence on
If the
someone.
person judging you is in a good mood that day.
I think there's so many. I don't know if anyone actually successfully got to work their way out of this,
Right.
but the most common result was they said, no, guilty,
Yeah.
immediately going to the guillotine,
Right.
like within hours.
And again, it didn't even matter if you did all the right things. They could simply judge you for not being extreme enough because Maximilien Robespierre's paranoia was just increasing at this time. So he ultimately was like, if you are not, again, being extreme enough, if you're not willing to take up crazy measures, like you're guilty and you're just as bad as a monarch. And he went so far as to execute even his most loyal friends.
That
Yeah.
shows his tipping point, I think.
Yeah, people that had proven themselves to the revolutionary cause, that had been with him drafting the new constitution and the new grievances against the king, helping him devise the new taxation systems. Like, they agree with him in everything. They agree with his universal suffrage for males, again.
For males, not for
Yeah.
females.
Yeah. Ending slavery. Like, they all agree with him on these points, but because they're not willing to make the ultimate sacrifice and shed blood of many, like, because they're not extreme in his view, he's like, you're not really supporting our cause.
Yeah. I think a really good example of this was his friend Georgia George. What's the how do you say George in French? Georges?
I actually don't know.
Georges?
Georges.
There's an S at the end. So
Yeah. Well,
George
you don't pronounce the S, but it would just be like
exactly.
George
George
Danton. Yeah.
let's call him Danton.
Yeah.
George Danton, he's a pretty notable figure during the French Revolution.
Mhm.
Exactly. Like buddies with Robespierre, kind of helped create this whole model, was with him through it thick and thin. But he was known to be a really nice guy,
Yeah.
which again, Robespierre, up until this point, up until Louis getting beheaded,
Mhm.
Robespierre was known as being pretty timid, kind of full of anxiety.
Yeah.
And this guy Danton, likewise, he was seen as kind of just like a nice, jolly guy. He was very forgiving, very understanding. Again, he cared for the people. He
Mhm.
just wanted the right thing for the citizens. So they had the same similar foundation.
Right.
But the difference is Robespierre, I think, got so caught up in the heat of everything and being angry at his quote enemies. He
Mhm.
took it so far, and Danton didn't take it that far, that they thought either one of two things. They thought either he's getting too soft or not,
Mhm.
he's not hard enough on all of this revolutionary stuff. So his heart's not in it like it should be.
Right.
Or as far as perhaps he's faking it and he's actually a traitor and he's a loyalist because
Ooh.
he wasn't being as passionate as he wasn't getting as angry as they wanted him to get over it.
Mhm.
So they executed him, his
Yeah.
friend that
Yeah.
he built some of this with.
And one thing that didn't really help anyone's case in these situations is that when they did execute Louis the 16th, one thing that they found were essentially letters to and from Louis the 16th to like monarchy supporters that were embedded within the, I think, Jacobean Party or within the National
Right.
Assembly. So there's this, again, this increased paranoia of like, well, we don't really know everyone Louis was communicating with. Like, do you actually support him? Because there was so much evidence pointing to this huge network of, I don't know
Mhm.
if you should call them spies, but kind of underground agents on behalf of the crown.
Yeah,
So once Louis was executed and Robespierre found all this out, he's now looking at everyone like, prove yourself.
exactly.
Hmm.
And I will be honest, this is such a complicated
Oh, yeah.
time in history. And this is a very high level version that Elizabeth and I are giving. There's so much more deeper that goes into the different political parties and this there's so many names, dates, places, circumstances. This isn't
Hmm.
like something that just happened overnight. This was years worth of accumulation of terror building and I think it really shows what can happen when things do snowball and it just gets worse and worse and more and out of control and it just
Right.
gets more severe and the things that they are used to just keep getting escalated up and
Hmm.
desensitized to what they're doing. There were
Yeah.
so many executions every day that the ground, the cobblestones where the scaffold was set up was just stained with
Hmm.
blood to the point where it smelled, right?
Oh, yeah. Like there was a stale blood smell kind of at all times in these big squares where people were being executed, like the Place de Révolution, the Place de Grève.
Oh, your pronunciations are
Oh,
fantastic.
thank you. I have a 70, no, 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 not yet. Well, 57
Mhm.
score on Duolingo French.
Pardon my French.
Pardonnez-moi. So people are shutting, like, peasants, who, not peasants, but people who live in these areas, these crowded areas, are closing their windows. They're shutting themselves in because the stench of death
Ugh.
is so strong. Like the
How
stench of
symbolic is that? It's so
exactly.
heavy in the air
It's literally
that they're
thick
shutting their
air.
windows on it.
Yeah.
And I just want to take a moment too for
Okay.
a quick pause to kind
Mhm.
of really evaluate Robespierre's personality on this.
Yeah.
Also, I do think it's funny that in the first episode we like to call him Max, but now we're just kind of
We call him
pissed off at him. Now
Robespierre.
he's
Well, that's
Robespierre.
what I'm
We're on the
saying. Like
formal level
our
now.
when we liked him, we're like, "Yo, Max, our friend Max," and
Yeah,
now he's
yeah.
like
He's not our
fucking
friend anymore.
Robespierre. This guy.
This guy is getting insane and crazy.
Hmm.
But he got so extreme. I mean, he's called an extremist for a reason.
Yeah.
He was so passionate, right, about equality and hating
Hmm.
anybody who was putting down the minority and the marginalized groups
Right.
that he himself became, he supported equal citizenship for all
Yeah.
and
Dang.
liberty, equality, fraternity.
Hmm.
I have my notes here.
I like that. Yeah.
I see you looking at it.
Big words.
Liberty, equality, fraternity.
Yeah.
And it's almost like he went so far for advocating for that cause
Hmm.
of liberty, fraternity, that he went right the extreme opposite direction of now ostracizing, murdering, killing the people that he doesn't feel like obeys to
Belong to
that
that.
and belong to that, which in itself is just so hypocritical, right? The
Yeah.
hypocrisy behind it of now himself performing unequality. Sorry, I'm like on so my arms are flailing like I'm getting worked up over this.
Yeah.
He was so passionate about equality that he created inequality
Inequality.
through all of this
Right.
by
Because
now ostracizing the monarchy.
well, and he's becoming the tyrant that he was criticizing.
Yes, the
You know.
hypocrisy. That's what pisses me off.
Hmm.
He became as bad as the people that he hated.
And that typically comes with a lot of power that people are given. But it is true. I mean, it is something that happens with a lot of leaders that are like this, where they start off very idealistic and very in this mindset of I want the best for all people. And then once they get a bit of power,
Yeah,
all of a sudden everyone who opposes them is the reason we can't have these
yeah,
things.
he got
Like
power hungry.
yeah, like this is why we can't have nice things is because of you and people like you and then you become the tyrant. And it's so funny because like when I was researching this episode, one thing that came to my brain when I started like reading about
Hmm.
Robespierre, I was like, man, it reminds me of like the Batman quote
Hmm.
of you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah.
And when I was researching, one of the like first things I read was like, he's a classic example of die a hero or live long enough to become the villain. I was like, amen.
The
Yeah.
transformation over time that everyone started to see in him.
Hmm.
This nice, loving guy just became evil and he was bloodthirsty.
Yeah. And he went so far as to people who were close to him started calling him a cult leader
Yeah.
because they again recognized how extreme he was getting.
Well, because he was anti-dictatorship, and here
Yes.
he himself is now becoming the leader. And
Right.
again, we're not saying Robespierre is the sole reason for the
No,
reign of
I was going to
terror.
say one thing to make note of is he's not doing this quite alone, right?
No,
He's an oligarch. He has other people who are making these decisions with him.
sure.
He's just the one that's kind of known for this since this was essentially his brainchild and he's always been in a leadership position. He's an
Hmm.
easy one to point to say, "Oh, it's all Robespierre's
Yeah,
fault."
and
Right?
he's
I
very
mean, there
outspoken
was
about it all.
plenty of other people involved in this. But he's the one that we all think of when we think of the Reign of Terror, when we think of the French Revolution, because again, since he came up in his 20s, 30s, he's been in these leadership roles advocating for this, and now he's seeing the bloody side of it.
Right.
But one thing I want to mention, and we talked about this in the Carmelite nun episode.
Yeah.
So a few episodes back, we talked about the Carmelite nuns who were executed during the Reign of Terror
Hmm.
because they were Catholic and they were seen as monarchy sympathizers. So during this time, a lot of the revolutionaries are trying to erase the Catholic Church entirely.
Hmm.
They're trying to say, "Hey, we're even gonna we're gonna melt down church bells and desecrate the monasteries. We're gonna eliminate Sundays from the calendar
That's
and
so like okay.
modify the
I
months."
mean, like take out Monday maybe.
I'm like, yeah,
I'd go
I'm
for
fine with
Sunday.
no Monday. Um, but they're doing all these things to kind of reverse like what they think the Catholic Church has embedded in society.
Hmm.
But Robespierre does think that's a bit extreme.
Hmm.
Like he's all for
Shocking.
I know, right? And he's like, "Oh, well, that's a little too far."
Well, let's not
And
get crazy here.
the reason he says this is because he thinks atheism is too cynical. So he wants to still create something people can believe in terms of a religious sense,
Mhm.
which again is why they go to so far as to calling him a cult leader because he makes up an entirely new religion essentially. He says, "Okay, religion isn't that bad. The Catholic Church is bad. The way they support the monarchy is bad, but I'm going to create something called the cult of the supreme being."
Okay.
And we touched upon this in our Carmelite Nun episode. But he announces this with like a big festival that he throws for the town to say, "Oh, no, I'm not a bad guy. I believe in the supreme being. Watch." And he does this it's kind of silly when you think about what I'm about to say. But in June 1794, he has this festival. He's literally wearing this like sky blue coat and he's coming down this fake mountain that he built. It's like a parade.
Like your
I
sky
was gonna say I'm
blue
kinda
top
wearing
that you're
this
wearing
this
right now.
sky blue coat
Yeah.
myself.
That was a little nod to Max.
Yeah, there you
Mm.
go, Max. Old Max,
Old Max, not new
RIP.
Max, old Max.
Yeah. So he creates this big like mountain. It's like a parade float mountain that he's coming down on. And he when he gets to the base of the mountain, he lights this statue on fire. The statue is like a wooden statue and it says atheism on it.
Oh.
So he lights up the atheism statue and it burns down to reveal this like concrete statue called wisdom. So he's trying to say the cult of the supreme being is not about being an atheist. It's about being wise and using logic and thinking about things beyond just what the Catholic Church has taught you. Like just be logical in your rationale about a supreme being.
Okay.
And that's the official point where people who were in his corner start looking around and they say,
That's what it was.
"I think this guy's lost his mind."
Not the 17,000 people executed, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
the tipping point. It's like, "Okay, Robespierre, we're gonna let you execute 17,000 people. All right, you get your, get your bloodthirst out." But once they see this happen, this like extreme display of cultish behavior and new religion he's trying to form, people are starting to take notice.
Yeah.
And then the fateful day comes of July 26th, 1794.
Oh, this day. He has a really big speech.
Hmm.
He's ready to give. It's a 2-hour speech.
Yeah.
And he's saying some very unnerving things. And this is in front of his fellow comrades, his co-conspirators, his co-revolutionists, so to speak.
And this is in the National Convention, which is essentially, again, it used to be called the National Assembly, then it was called like the Legislative Assembly. Now it's called the National Convention. But just remember, it's that third estate new constitutional thing, parliament they're trying
Yeah.
to create.
He's got this long 2-hour speech, as we said in our last episode, if you listened and paid attention.
And you did.
The guy liked to talk. In one year alone, he gave 328 speeches. So he would do these long, lengthy rants of speeches.
Hmm.
But this one in particular, he was really being foreboding and warning and telling people, I think there's a lot of people amongst us right now who are loyalists or have a little inclination of feeling a little bit loyalist who
Right.
aren't quite proving themselves. And I'm worried for some of these people. We need to watch out for some of these people because I'm paraphrasing here, but
Hmm.
like they are the ones that we're gonna have to go for next.
And they're traitors.
They are traitors and they deserve to face the guillotine like all the people before them.
Hmm.
And he really set himself up for disaster here because he did something interesting that was unlike him,
Yeah.
but it made people worried. He didn't give any names.
Yeah.
It's like he was trying to be mysterious and keep people on their toes and be like, maybe I'm
Could
talking
be
about
any of
you.
hmm
He's making, I'm sure, like through this speech, direct eye contact with someone,
which is just good public speaking.
giving them the death stare, but
Yeah.
then maybe moving on to the next person doing the same thing. So it's like, is he talking about that guy? Is he
Hmm.
talking about me? Is this for me? Do people are they talking about me? Do they know things I don't know?
It's like the scene in Hook when Hook points at his pirates and he's like, "You,
Not
you,"
you.
and every single pirate points to themselves like, "Me,
Not you, not
not
you,
you,
not you,
you."
you. That's kind of what's going on here. Everyone here is afraid, like, oh my God, is he
Hmm.
subtly because we all make it about ourselves, right?
Everyone does.
Eh,
Everyone has an ego. Everyone thinks everything's about themselves.
exactly. I mean, we think about that too in like a company meeting. Like, imagine you're sitting in a company meeting and your manager's like, some of you just really aren't cutting it out. And then they make like a long stare at you, but then, and you're like, oh my God, are they talking about me? What do I need?
Mhm.
And then you start overthinking it.
Yeah.
And I cannot take credit for this line. I hate to say the words I'm about to say, but this is through an AI documentary. It had some really wise
It's
words.
a good one, though.
It's a good one. I'm gonna steal it. I should just say it's mine, but I can't do that.
Mhm.
But this doc I can't call it a documentary. This YouTube clip that we were
Yeah.
watching,
YouTube video, AI based, but very good.
very informative
Yeah.
still.
Mhm.
It said, by threatening everyone, by naming no one, unified everyone.
Say that.
I'm gonna say it one more time. By threatening everyone, by naming no one, unified everyone.
Right.
So now that everyone's like, okay, speech ends, they're all
Mhm.
talking behind the scenes. He's like, dude, was he talking about you? I thought he was talking about you. Was he talking about me? Was it? And they're like, wait a second here. They're finding this common denominator. They're like,
Yeah.
are we all freaked out that he thinks we're the ones who need to be executed and we're not?
Mhm.
Something's wrong here.
People don't like the lack of communication, like the lack of clarity, right? So
Yes.
people like he goes to bed soundly that
He's like,
night.
that was a
He's
great
like,
speech. I was mysterious,
yeah,
left them all thinking, let
yeah.
them all like simmer in it a little bit.
He's like,
But
I hope they're a little fearful,
they were in a
but
boil.
actually they're very fearful
Mhm.
because he goes to bed and everyone else in the assembly essentially stays up all night, has secret meetings with each other. It's almost like if you watch the show Survivor, like right
Mm.
before tribal council, it's like the last minute, like, wait, what should we do?
Yeah.
Who
You
should
start
we vote
making
on? You
alliances.
make alliances, you make promises, you make pledges, you're staying up all night just trying to save your own life. So in the morning, the next day, which is now July 27th, 1794. He goes back to the National Assembly thinking, oh, it's a new day. I'm going to have another speech that I'm going to make. And
Oh, this one's going to
uh,
go as well as the
this
day
one's going
before.
to.
Maybe I'll make it 4 hours long.
Right. And as soon as he starts speaking, people start shouting at him things like, down with the tyrant.
Who? Me?
And
What?
he's now like,
What
wait,
the?
wait, me? Wait,
Am
I'm
I?
sorry.
It's like that scene where he like looks behind. And he's like, wait, what?
Am I the
I'm,
problem?
I'm the tyrant.
I'm the problem.
He's the problem.
Yeah.
It's him.
So this officially is the entire national convention, like descending on him. They immediately like stop his speech, call him a tyrant, and
Mhm.
they arrest him.
On the spot.
Yeah,
I
on the
just want to
spot.
slow clap for that. Like, it took him too long. It took him longer than it should have.
17 lives later,
17,000
17,000
lives
lives
later, but
later.
like slow clap for them finally being like, enough's enough, dude.
Right.
Shut up.
And
Just shut up.
it's so funny that he admired the Roman Republic so
Yeah.
because this
Wait.
is just like Caesar.
Oh, I never connected those dots.
It's like he loved the people that
wow,
were
the
opposed.
symmetry behind it.
Yeah, he loved the people of the Roman Republic that were opposed to the Caesar dictatorship. Yet now he is Caesar in the Senate being stabbed by a
It's
bunch of
too
people.
brute. It's too.
It's too
It's too Robespierre.
nice. Yeah, it too. So essentially, yeah, everyone is coming, against him. They arrest him. He does quickly flee. I don't know how he gets out of it so fast.
He's a quick little
Like a
because
slippery little guy.
he's like a little
He's a
meerkat.
weasel.
Yeah, he's just like a little scroungy guy. Kind of weasels his way out.
So
Runs
somehow,
between legs.
yeah, somehow he flees quickly and he goes to Hotel de Ville, which means City
Great.
Hall.
I
Why,
don't,
why would you go there, first
I
of
don't
all?
approve. No, I don't approve of calling a city hall a hotel. But continue.
Hotel de Ville.
I really envisioned a hotel this whole time.
Oh, well, it's not. It's a City Hall.
Glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you. And so he's hunkered down in City Hall. He's with two of his best supporters, a man named Lebos, I believe,
La Basse.
Lebos, and his brother, who we haven't seen since
Yeah.
the early episode,
Augustine.
So they're hunkering down in City Hall, but the troops immediately break in,
Mhm.
and this point is a bit of a controversial, like what happened,
Mm.
what went down here. A lot of people saying different things about the sequence of events, but we know he's shot in the jaw. We know that Robespierre is shot in the jaw. What we don't know is who shot him in the jaw. It could have been one of the troops breaking in. One of the soldiers claimed, "Oh, yeah, I shot him. I saw him. I shot him. I shattered his jaw." He didn't die.
Mm.
But others claim that he took the gun and he tried
Mhm.
to end his life.
I think that's plausible, and there's a lot of historians who do think that he was suicidal.
Yeah, most historians think that this was a self-inflicted gunshot wound, that he was attempting suicide,
Yeah.
and it didn't help that his two buddies that were in there with him, his brother and this other guy,
Mhm.
Lebas shot himself.
Yeah, so Labas already had a pistol.
Right.
Labas could have shot himself, and then Max, Robespierre, also we don't call him Maximilien.
Yeah.
Maximilien could have grabbed it and then tried to do the same, but maybe someone bumped him. It's chaos,
Right.
right? He
Right.
lost his aim. I
Mhm.
mean, it was right there in front of you. What
I
is that
can't
from?
even kill
Mulan?
myself. That's
Oh,
from American Horror Story.
so
Uh, Mulan.
we are on two different levels right now. You're quoting American Horror Story, and I'm quoting Mulan.
Both
When
equally
Mushu's like,
good.
"How did you miss? You missed. It was right there in front of
She
you."
wasn't aiming for that. Um, but his brother, Max's brother Augustine, he, instead of shooting himself, decides to jump out a window. Jump out the nearest window, and apparently he landed on the bayonets of all these soldiers that were waiting outside the window. So he dies.
Ouchie.
Yeah. So you have two of his best men die, and then potentially self-inflicted gunshot wound to his own jaw.
And Augustine did die from that because I read that he
Yes.
had concussions and like a pelvic fracture, but he had to have died from those
I'm pretty
injuries.
sure he died of
Yeah, I mean,
bayonets.
like I think
Yeah.
he got pretty beat up from that, and
Yeah.
then because he wasn't executed at all.
No,
Yeah,
these
so
these
he had to have
two
died from
these
that.
two got out of their
Yeah, yeah,
execution
you're
day.
right.
So his last night on Earth,
Mm.
Maximilien Robespierre, he spends his final night bleeding on a table. He's unable to speak because his jaw is shattered.
Ugh. Oh, that's got to be so
Yeah.
painful.
And he's wearing this like dirty bandage around his neck and jaw, like holding his
Like
jaw
I
in
don't feel
place.
bad for him, but that is
That's a brutal
awful.
way to die. Well, he didn't die yet. And while he's
Don't
sitting there,
worry, it gets worse.
yeah, don't worry. There's more. Um, while he's on this table, he's being poked and prodded and mocked, and people are essentially coming to see him, like laughing at him, like not pitying him, not there to say, "Oh, sorry, and had to end this way." People are like there to tell him, "This is what you deserve, buddy." People are not sympathetic towards him.
Yeah.
Pretty brutal.
I mean, their allegiance flipped very
Fast.
quickly.
Yeah. And I mean, any of them could have been next. I mean, had they not done this, he could have massacred, murdered, executed a bunch of other people from the assembly the very next few days. So in their mind, they're like, we're ending this now. Like
Yeah.
all of us are going to be safe as long as you die. So the next day is July 28th, 1794. And it's later in the day. Usually we see executions early in the morning. This is an afternoon execution that is
Oh,
scheduled.
they changed their schedule for convenience.
Perhaps. Maybe they just wanted him to think about it for longer.
Mhm.
But it's 5 p.m. And Robespierre and 21 of his allies. So somehow
Wow.
there's still 21 allies in his corner. I don't know where they were trying to save him.
They just wiped out the rest of them, like the last scragglers.
Right. But they're all loaded onto carts and they're taken to the Place de la Révolution. So this is the square, one of the bloodiest squares where they had a lot of executions, and they're all lined up for a 6 p.m. execution.
Timely.
Yeah. And I believe, again, I don't know the order of the executions, but
Mhm.
usually the most important person goes last.
Last, and that was definitely the case here.
Hmm.
Robespierre was last of the 21.
Okay. Yeah. So at the scaffold, the executioner, who is Charles Henry Sanson, we've talked
We've
about him
talked about him.
before.
He's a very famous executioner. I mean,
Hmm.
he was a busy man doing all these guillotine executions during the Reign of Terror.
Oh, yeah.
I actually think he was I don't want to go as far as assuming he was a loyalist, but he had to have had so much animosity, like, towards how much murder he had to commit. I don't think he was a fan of Max. Let's just say it that way.
Do you think he got rich though because he was executing so many people for pay?
Yeah, he probably. I all of this is speculation.
Sure.
Yeah, he got rich, but he saw the ugliest side of things. He must have been so tired of it.
Oh yeah, that's not something you want to be in charge
He
of.
saw so many executions having to end their lives.
Mhm.
Like, and again, going back to the Carmelite nuns, thinking about their sad
Uh,
going of like it was somber. They
mhm.
weren't all just it got weird. It got weird. It
I
got sad.
I am surprised that the Carmelite nuns didn't come up in our research of Robespierre because when we
Yeah.
did that episode, we were like, this is one of the final straws that broke the camel's back in the Reign of Terror.
Mhm.
And I definitely think it was part of it. But I think that's like because of how much death there was.
Mhm.
I mean, the Carmelite nuns just kind of, I think, faded into all of those deaths. There was
Yeah.
so much death that you couldn't even separate all the
Right.
individual stories of death.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, that's a great episode. I I will say that was
Highly
one of our
recommend.
better ones. It was a group of very innocent nuns who got swept up in all of this and were seen as being loyalists to the monarchy because they
Yeah.
were Catholic.
And they were executed a week before Robespierre.
Oh, they
So,
almost made it out.
yeah, so very, very close to here. Um, but so the executioner, Sanson, what he does is he has to take this bloody jaw bandage off of Robespierre.
Has to?
Exactly.
Hmm.
So we read a few things. Some accounts say that he had to take the bandage off so that Robespierre's neck could fit in like the neck rest. Like there's a
Yeah.
little essentially circle, but they call that the lunette. And they said they had to take the bandage off so we could fit through there.
Because
Thick this bandage was, but it doesn't seem like it'd be in the way of the slicer that's about to
it
take your
was
head
holding
off.
up his jaw though.
Yeah.
His
So
jaw was shattered.
so because they took off this bandage, Robespierre let out this agonizing scream because he has a shattered jaw, and
Like
this is
his
the
jaw is non-existent.
yeah, this is the only thing holding his jaw together. So as soon as they take the bandage off, he is screaming.
Like, dude, you're screaming over that, your head's about to be cut off.
Yeah, well,
Just
he's
give it
not
a
gonna
just give it a moment, it'll go
he's
away.
not gonna be around for the rest of it. So his last few moments on Earth is just this terrifying, horrifying scream,
And then
and then an abrupt end by the blade of the guillotine.
cheers.
And then roar of applause.
Roars for like 15 minutes the crowd was cheering.
Yeah,
They were so relieved.
because this officially marked the end of the Reign of Terror.
The guy instigating it, like it came down to him. Like
Mhm,
I know we say he wasn't the sole one, the sole reason behind it or the sole driver, but he was a primary person leading this thing and in charge. And with
absolutely.
him gone, and now with everybody changing their tune and flipping sides, they were able to. I mean, I sure it wasn't getting back to normalcy right away, but they could be so.
Normalcy.
Is that a word?
Normalcy.
Whatever.
I like that.
They can not be so afraid of their lives.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like, yeah, obviously, again, history is written by the victors. There probably was other people behind a lot of this, and Robespierre was definitely the main guy, the scapegoat. Like, it's not like he was the only bad guy. There's
Yeah.
other people making these decisions, but that doesn't excuse any of the things he did.
No,
He definitely
absolutely.
oversaw
Well, and then
this.
all of these people who were a part of this and they survived,
Hmm.
they quickly changed their tune. Now they have a scapegoat because they can put all the blame on
Yes.
the guy that they just beheaded.
They're like, oh, obviously this was all Robespierre.
He was
Everything's
a
fine now.
tyrant. He
Hmm.
forced us. We didn't want this. We didn't agree with this. We knew it got out of control, and that's why we took over and we,
Right.
you know, did what we needed to do.
Hmm.
But like, yeah, too little, too late.
Too little, too late. And in terms of the body, what happened after the execution, Robespierre's body was buried in a mass grave.
Hmm.
But later,
Mm-hmm.
he was dug up.
Mm.
And guess
By
where he
who?
was? I don't know.
A fan? Like,
I think the state. They
like
dug
it
up
was. Oh, like
everybody.
it was a formal.
Not like a person dug him up specifically.
I know
Like,
where they went because I saw them.
where did they go, Megan?
The catacombs of Paris.
Ooh, did they say who's who in the
No.
catacombs, or it's just like one big massive skulls and stuff?
They're very creatively and intentionally designed, but you don't know what's what. Like,
So it's like there's
there's
no
no
sign
plaques,
that's
there's no
like
signs
this is
like, "This is so and
Robespierre's
so
skull.
skull," no. But they are have you seen pictures of
I've
the
seen
catacombs?
pictures. I know they're very elaborate and
They're
there are
very
like
elaborate designs that they make out of, like, the
mhm.
femurs and the skulls, like, they make heart shapes and weird
Yeah,
designs.
yeah.
It's art, like, it's bone art, and you're just walking through miles of tunnels
I'd like to see
of
it.
bones all around you,
Mhm.
and I mean, and the reason they did the catacombs is because, with all the flooding
You mean all the death?
and the death,
The
they
17,000
couldn't
bodies.
yeah, they couldn't, I mean, obviously for catacombs is so that they exhumed from the ground and in a
Right.
more secure place.
So you're saying the flooding though was a big
Actually,
reason?
maybe I'm confusing that with New Orleans. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, yes.
I'm confusing that with New
Yeah,
Orleans.
that's a thing in New Orleans.
Yeah,
The above
that's
ground
why.
graves.
Sorry, my brain. It's also, like, after midnight. What time is it?
It doesn't matter, me. We're talking about death and exciting
You're right.
things.
This is really fun.
Yeah.
I
But
can do this all night.
I would love to see the catacombs with you one
We'll have
day.
to do it.
You
Mhm.
know, I know we got a big Europe trip planned in the spring. Paris is, we can't go to Paris. We're already going to too many other places, but
Me.
who
Who
knows? Who
knows?
knows where we'll be in a year?
Maybe we could we'll talk about it after. We don't need to do that right now.
Do you want to just plan real quick at the end of this episode?
I mean, like, quick side trip, but yeah. Uh, wow. I mean,
What a season.
ending with a big one.
Hmm.
So
We've danced around Robespierre for a lot because we've done episodes on Marie Antoinette, 2 episodes on Marie
2 on
Antoinette.
Marie.
Yeah, we had to redo her. We've done Louis the 16th. We've done Louis the 16th's sister, Elizabeth de France. We did
Yeah,
Madame
I forgot about
Dubarry.
her.
So we've talked about Robespierre in a roundabout way for a long time, and it was exciting to get to tackle his story because I had a feeling I was like, I think from what I know about him, I think he came up very idealistic and wanting this nice, equal, pure, virtuous
Yeah.
society. And then by the end, he's arguing terror is virtue and virtue is terror and bloodshed's necessary.
He
Mhm.
almost reminds me of, I
Who?
don't even wanna say it. Can I
You
stop
can
what I'm saying?
no,
He
please
reminds
continue.
me of what's the guy
Stop what
from
I'm saying. No, you're in this. Tell me.
what's the guy's name from Wreck-It Ralph? King.
King Candy or
King
something? Is that his
Candy.
name?
Yeah, and he, like, turns
Turbo?
turbo. He goes
That's
turbo.
a horrible example.
Is it? That's why I wanted to
I'm
stop what I was saying while I was saying it,
sorry.
but because he was, like, the nice guy, and then he goes crazy. I'm sure there's lots of better examples about parents who
uh,
again,
Jekyll and
it's late.
Hyde, Harvey
It's
Dent.
yeah, that wasn't my best analogy,
Wreck-It Ralph counts too.
but I
I
like,
love Wreck-It Ralph.
um, Elizabeth,
Mm,
won't say this for a while.
yeah.
Do you wanna eat more snacks after this? That's not what I'm
Oh,
gonna ask
I was
you.
like, sure.
Elizabeth,
Hmm.
any final words?
Down with the tyrant.